What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up enough plaster to fill this whole box right to the rim here. Ooh, that's about right. Let me take my leveling stick here. There we go, that's perfect. Fits perfectly in here. Clean that up a little bit. And this is very thick, very durable. I could make 100 copies from this. And I press these strips into my rubber mold. After I press it in, I end up with this shell of clay that's about 3/8 of an inch thick, a little bit thicker. The clay should be built up right to the level of the rubber mold and the mother mold. Okay, now in goes the plaster. Okay, I let it sit for about an hour, and that's more than enough for the plaster to harden. So let's take the core out. There we go. And this is the clay insert that I made here. There we go. And that's my core. Now the core will fit right inside the mold like that. I put this core out in the sun for about 3 days so that it was really bone dry, which it is now. And now I'm using a little steel wool, you can use sandpaper if you want, to make sure it's perfectly smooth and there are no undercuts. The worst thing that can happen in casting when you make a core is that you won't be able to release it from the finished product. Now, after steel wooling the surface of the core to a very smooth texture, I painted a layer of gesso on it, which is a polymer, to seal it up. That has dried. I'm going to try this without rubber. I'm just going to use Vaseline on my core here. Just rub it in. I looked that up on the internet. People seem to say that works pretty well. And of course, you absolutely must look for any undercuts, because you're going to destroy the whole process if you have undercuts. You will not get the core out. And now we're going to replace it back. Now we're ready to pour the plastic. Now I'm going to be casting for the first time with this mold, so I'm not exactly sure what the volume of plastic is going to be. So the method I'm going to use, as I did before, is I'm going to pour water into the mold, and then I'll be able to know my volume. Now I remove the core, and I pour the liquid in my mold into a container. And you can see we have a little over 400 milliliters. Because this will be my first casting, I don't want to run short of plastic, so I increased the volume in my mind to 500 milliliters. That means I'm going to need 250 milliliters of A and 250 of B. So you see my water level is now at 250. And mark the level, which is very convenient. It's right at one of those little ridges. In we go. You can see why it's so important to have the mold be perfectly level. Otherwise the plastic would spill out one side or the other. This is real time. Let's see how long it takes to harden. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. The plastic is still a little warm, but it's hard. So let's demold. See what we got here. There we go.